Let's now turn to Luke Shrago, our chief reporter. He's just arrived from Lege, rather, Cap Ferret. That is now a place where the mayor of the town says the fire is at the gates. Just take me through those scenes, some really horrific images of those fires billowing out.
Well, Liège is almost where the situation began, a little bit further to north around Le Porge, for example. But as this fire spread, I don't think anyone really expected it to go as far as it has. It just seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you have to go back to these weeks of heat waves that we've had, soaring temperatures across the entire country. It's left so much of France under drought. These tinderbox dry conditions, everything has dried out, and it is a perfect storm of something just waiting to happen. And as soon as it took, it literally went like wildfire. We were in Liège this morning and some of the afternoon. It's where one of the base camps and the command post is for some of the firefighting units that are dealing with the area. And the problem is that even when some of these fires are handled, when they get put out or at least contained, or they die down and are doused out, the wind is so strong and is changing all the time that the sheer force of it can force it to flare back up, that it can blow it back into existence. And these roving teams, these units, like sort of rapid reaction really, are literally going around putting out brush fires. That's where the expression comes from, I suppose. And they haven't been able to stop. They're being supported by local farmers, people in construction, people with equipment that can help, and they're bringing in tankers of water, filling them from underground reservoirs that they obviously use for irrigation, for example. But even they're telling us they're getting worried because they're running out of fuel. They were calling on the government this morning to send more fuel in for their tractors and for their vehicles so that they can keep helping these firefighters who are literally going around the clock in shifts trying to deal with this blaze.
It's absolutely astonishing, even these images behind you. And as you mentioned, the fires literally creating their own weather systems, the wind, these mega fire storms, as it were. And it just makes the whole escapade just so difficult. What would you describe the situation like right now in terms of how authorities are managing it? Are they bringing calm, or is there a sense of panic? Just take me through.
It's surprising how calm things are. We spoke to a lot of the evacuees, people who've been sent out from place to place, often several times. For example, one area ends up under an evacuation order and they move to the next town. Then that town ends up under an evacuation order and they have to move to the next town after this, and so on. One of the places they often end up is the Parc des Expos exhibition centre in Bordeaux. That's got a capacity of around about 10,000. Initially, they had about 500 beds. They had showers, a medical centre for the elderly. They were mostly elderly, but for anyone who needs it, toys for the children, volunteers pulling out all the stops to get people sheltered. They've boosted the capacity there. They opened another hall to split the way things were. Just a couple of days ago, I think they had about 7,000 people there. But as of last night on Saturday, they were starting to look at the more medium term because so many people were saying that we just want to go home. When can we go home? I mean, you might remember the 2022 fires that we had in the same area down in the Landes and the Gironde.
Devastating, but
They were devastating, but they were nothing like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's completely different now. It's dwarfed it by comparison.
I mean, French authorities saying that 115,000 hectares have now burned this year and 42,000 in Gironde just alone. I mean, that's astonishing. You talk about the people trying to flee, going from place to place. In terms of their access, in terms of being able to actually use transport, what is that looking like right now?
In and around Bordeaux, transport is fine. But anywhere in the zone that's being closed off, that's under evacuation, people cannot go back. It is too dangerous. We were driving around certain areas today. We were able to get through with our press passes. Even then, it was quite difficult. We still had to contact the prefecture. A lot of journalists have. They've got group chats on WhatsApp that people can liaise and communicate. And they were being held up in various places by police and sometimes self-appointed guardians, maybe just locals who say, no, you can't go through there, it's too dangerous. But again, the surprising thing is the calm.
Mm.
Even with the evacuees saying grateful, deeply grateful for the help that they've had, whether locals or tourists, because we know the area is such a huge tourist destination. When our hotel got evacuated near Marignac Airport on Friday night, there were so many people there who had no clue what was going on or how bad things were. And there was a little bit of anger there because they've showed up at this place. They've already missed their flights because the airport was closed on Friday night. It began operations again, but they end up in a hotel, and then they're suddenly being told they have to leave at about 3:30 in the morning. They were going around knocking on doors. And again, everyone who ended up in Bordeaux at the Expo Centre, they were deeply grateful. But the one thing, again, I have to say, it's all unfolded amid a surprising amount of calm. There was no panic that we could see. Apprehension, yes, but no panic.
And does that include taking the evacuees across the bay in Arcachon, where you were? I mean, we saw those pictures of people even on sunbeds looking across the bay.
I'm aware of the pictures. We didn't get that far. We didn't get to the waterfront. We didn't go down south to Arcachon either. We were mainly based in Bordeaux and around Liège. For example, we tried to get into Liège because we knew that was where the command post was. We couldn't even get that far because they were evacuating at the time. And that might be the one area where I think things bogged down quite heavily because so many people were coming out the other way. On the way in, clear roads. But coming back the other way, we were passing kilometers and kilometers and kilometers of cars.
Unbelievable.
People were, again, not panicking, not angry, just
Stuck.
disappointed and stuck. To get down, you've got Liège, then you've got Andernos, then Arès, Longchamp, moving south around the bay. And this whole area here, east of that, excuse me, that's the area that's on fire, and it was slowly starting to move south. So the further south people had to go, and then out towards Bordeaux the other way. And to get from Arès to Longchamp should have taken maybe 15-minute drive. People were stuck for 4 or 5 hours.
That's incredible. Just the last question, Luke. I'm sure you can actually even still smell the smoke on your cargo pants, such has been your day. But in terms of getting this under control, have you had any word from officials? Have you managed to speak to anyone about any kind of words of hope, or is this very much at the apex of the fire right now?
It's too tough to say. I wish it wasn't even this far in. We're days into this now. We should be getting some sort of indication, but we're not, because it's still spreading. It's not contained. They are controlling parts of it. They are doing what they can, and they are doing an absolutely heroic job amid horrific conditions. But the sheer scale of this means more resources are going to be needed before this comes anywhere being close to done with.
And no doubt that's going to be at top of Macron's agenda tomorrow on Monday. Well, thank you so much, Luke. Really very interesting, but also a devastating scene unfolding there with the fires. We'll keep our finger on the pulse there. Luke Shrago there for France 24. That's where we wrap up this edition of the World Roundup Show. Please stay tuned.